Welcome to the deep dive. Building a startup is tough, no doubt about it.
Especially in crypto, it moves so fast.
Exactly. And just getting noticed, it feels like a huge uphill battle sometimes. But that's where a really smart social media strategy comes in.
hmm
And that's what we're diving deep into today, really unpacking it for you, why it's so vital, and, how you can actually make it work.
Yeah, because a lot of founders, understandably, they focus heavily on the product first.
Right, the tech, the build.
But maybe social media feels secondary. It's a common view.
It is, but overlooking it can be, well, a massive missed opportunity for growth. And
hmm
actually, if you are looking for maybe an initial push for your profiles, there are services out there. You might check out something like rapidboost.net, for instance.
Right, tools exist to help get started.
So yeah, our mission today is basically to cut through all the noise, pull out the really actionable insights, maybe some surprising facts about startup social media, particularly, like we said, in the crypto world.
It's definitely needed. I mean, the statistics we looked at, they're pretty stark. Over 90% of startups fail.
Wow, that high.
Yeah. And when you dig into why they fail, and visibility just not being seen, it's a major, major factor.
You can have the best idea in the world, right?
Exactly. But if no one knows about it,
Yeah.
it's like it doesn't exist.
Huh.
But what's interesting and kind of powerful is how social media offers this megaphone to fight that.
Yeah, it really levels the playing field a bit.
It does. We're talking potentially reaching, what, nearly 5 billion people active on these platforms?
That's incredible reach. And compared to traditional advertising, the big
Oh,
campaign,
yeah, the cost there could be huge.
social media just has such a lower barrier to entry, doesn't it? It's less about having the biggest budget.
And more about being clever, consistent, adaptable.
Totally. Like, think about Glossier back in the day.
Great example.
They built this enormous buzz, this whole community on Instagram, almost before they even had a proper website selling stuff.
That really shows the power of building that community first.
It does.
And if we look at crypto, that community angle is, well, it's even more critical.
Right.
I mean, look at Dogecoin. Its rise was fueled almost entirely by memes and Twitter buzz.
Yeah, it was wild.
And it actually outperformed, for a time, many projects that were, arguably much more technologically serious or complex.
It really highlights that potential for sort of unexpected community-driven growth sparked just by social media chat.
It does. And
Cool.
it challenges that old marketing playbook for startups.
Absolutely. The money and time needed for print ads, trade shows,
Yeah, that stuff drains resources fast for an early stage company.
whereas social media is like instant, it's interactive, it scales globally.
Always on, and you get feedback almost immediately.
That's the thing. And for startups, especially in crypto where things change by the minute,
Oh, definitely.
being able to use social media for that real-time communication, it's vital. Announcing milestones, answering questions people keep asking.
Clarifying your roadmap.
Exactly. Shaping your own story as it happens. That's so crucial in crypto.
You really have to be agile.
Okay, so one thing that came up in our research was how crypto startups are often, well, they're not just selling a product. They're part of a movement almost.
That's a key distinction.
Yeah.
And it brings unique hurdles, right? Public skepticism is often higher.
Yeah, and the regulatory landscape is constantly shifting.
Plus, just the sheer amount of information and, frankly, misinformation floating around.
So much noise.
Precisely. And that's where social media becomes this essential lifeline. It's how you build credibility, how you foster trust.
Right.
Think about Ethereum in its early days. The founders were super active on Reddit, on Twitter.
Engaging directly.
Yeah, answering technical questions, discussing the vision. That open communication was huge for getting early adopters on board.
It's such a contrast to some of those ICOs that just disappeared.
Right. The ones with zero communication, zero transparency, they often failed spectacularly. People need to trust the project, the team.
Especially when they're putting in their own money or time.
And this points to something fundamental about blockchain and Web3 overall. The sources really highlighted this.
Which is?
Community. These ecosystems thrive on participation. Platforms like Telegram, Discord, X, formerly Twitter, even TikTok now.
They're the new town squares, basically.
Exactly. That's where these communities live and breathe.
And thinking about engagement, Cardano's Charles Hoskinson doing those regular AMAs on YouTube and Twitter.
Perfect example. He takes really complex stuff, tech details, regulation,
Yeah, stuff that could be intimidating.
and he breaks it down. Makes it accessible, builds understanding, gets people excited.
So the lesson there seems to be that effective, honest social engagement in crypto, It can turn doubters into believers.
Absolutely. It's not just marketing fluff. It's about forging real connections, showing you're transparent. It can directly drive adoption.
Okay, let's talk business benefits too. Brand awareness, adoption. Social
Yeah.
media speeds that up, right?
Massively. Our sources mention that old marketing rule of thumb needing about 7 touch points before someone converts.
Right, seeing the brand multiple times.
Social media is just incredibly efficient at creating those touch points, multiplying those
But
interactions.
different platforms work for different things, yeah.
Totally. Like LinkedIn is great for B2B authority building, Instagram for visual lifestyle brands, and Twitter, well, we've seen it's huge for tech and crypto news and conversation.
Each one is a different path to your audience.
Exactly. Look at OpenSea's growth.
The NFT marketplace, yeah.
A big part of their early traction came from being super active on Twitter, sharing updates, and having that busy Discord community that kept people in the loop.
Made them feel like insiders.
Right, and that constant transparent activity, it builds authority, builds trust, which is so important when you're dealing with complex tech like crypto.
Mm.
People need to believe in you.
So things like educational threads, founder Q&As, maybe little live demos.
Yeah, all that stuff humanizes the brand. Makes it feel less like a faceless company and more like real people working on something cool.
The MetaMask example using Twitter threads to explain new features or fixes, that's spot on.
It is. It's proactive.
Yeah.
Builds confidence, combats the FUD, the fear, uncertainty, and doubt.
By giving clear answers.
Exactly. And beyond just building trust, a really good social strategy can actually turn happy users into your best marketers.
Oh, like brand advocates.
Precisely.
Hmm.
When you genuinely talk with your community, not just at them, they feel heard, valued.
And they start spreading the word for you.
Yeah. Things like gamified referral programs can work well, or campaigns encouraging user-generated content.
Highlighting cool stuff your fans make.
Yes, it builds that sense of shared ownership, that community vibes.
Like the Solana summer thing.
Perfect example.
Hmm.
That wasn't just the Solana team pushing it, it was the community. Creating memes, getting excited, acting like brand ambassadors. That drove huge viral growth.
Okay, so this all sounds great, but how does a startup, maybe especially a crypto startup, actually do this effectively? What are the concrete steps?
Well, the first key piece of advice for the experts we looked at is choose the right platforms. Don't try to be everywhere.
Focus your energy.
Right. Figure out where your specific target audience actually hangs out online. Are they on LinkedIn, TikTok, specific subreddits, Discord servers?
So a B2B SaaS might focus on LinkedIn, while a DeFi project might hit crypto Twitter and Discord harder.
Exactly. Spreading yourself too thin early on just dilutes your message and your resources.
Makes sense. Okay, step 2.
Create content that actually provides value and makes people want to share it.
Easier said than done sometimes, especially with complex topics.
For sure. In crypto, simplifying things is key. Think short animated explainers, quick video tutorials, those AMAs we mentioned, maybe clear infographics.
Stuff that actually helps people understand.
Yes.
Hmm.
The goal is consistent value. Educate, entertain, solve a problem. That's what gets shared, what drives real engagement.
You mentioned Chainlink earlier, their Oracle use case series on Twitter.
Yeah, that's a great example. Taking something pretty technical.
Making it digestible.
Right. Informative, visual, accessible.
Okay, so choose platforms, create value. What's next?
Data. You have to leverage data and analytics. It's not enough just to post stuff.
You need to know what's working.
Exactly. Track what resonates, what drives clicks or signups, where the important conversations are happening about your space or your project.
And in crypto, that seems extra important with how fast things move.
Absolutely. Social media can be like an early warning system. Teams can spot regulatory whispers, scam alerts, community pain points, often way before they hit the mainstream.
So tracking hashtags, checking AMA engagement, monitoring sentiment.
Yes, all of that.
Yeah.
And you need to be ready to adapt your messaging based on what you're seeing and hearing. Be agile.
Right. And the final big point seemed to be about conversation.
Yeah, moving away from just broadcasting announcements.
To actually talking with people.
Exactly. Hosting Q&As, running polls, replying to comments, even the critical ones.
Showing the human side, maybe. Behind the scenes stuff.
Definitely. Asking for opinions, showing you're listening, maybe even course correcting based on feedback. That builds real loyalty.
Like the Uniswap example, addressing those gas fee concerns directly on Twitter.
Spot on. That kind of open dialogue diffuses negativity and can even lead to product improvements. It shows you care.
Of course, it's not always smooth sailing. Startups make mistakes on social media too, right?
Oh, absolutely. Our sources flagged some common pitfalls. One big one is just inconsistent or like off-brand messaging.
Sending mixed signals.
Yeah. Every post, every tweet, it needs to reinforce your core story, your values. Otherwise, you just confuse people, maybe even push them away.
And in crypto, there's that whole regulatory tightrope.
Huge risk there. Overhyping claims, ignoring compliance rules, that can lead to serious trouble, legally and reputationally.
We saw that with things like BitConnect, didn't we? The hype was way out of control.
A classic cautionary tale. All sizzle, misleading promotion, disastrous ending.
Another mistake is maybe too much automation, making it feel robotic.
Yes, scheduling tools are useful, sure, but you can't neglect the human touch. Authenticity is crucial, especially when you're trying to build trust.
People want to connect with people, not bots.
Exactly. And maybe the worst mistake, ignoring or badly handling negative feedback.
Just deleting critical comments or staying silent.
Yeah, that almost always backfires. It fuels the fire, makes you look like you're hiding something, can cause a huge backlash.
Like Robinhood during the GameStop situation, their initial communication, or lack thereof,
Cause massive brand damage. Being swift, candid, and honest, even when it's tough, that's usually the better long-term play.
Okay, so let's boil this down. For a startup ready to build or maybe fix their social media game plan, what are the key steps our sources recommend?
Right. Step one, define your social mission and persona. What's your story? What's your voice? And for crypto, be really clear on your stance regarding transparency, security, regulation.
Know who you are and what you stand for online. Okay. Step two.
Pick the platform strategically. Like we said, do the research. Find out where your ideal users actually gather and talk. Focus your efforts there.
Don't boil the ocean. Got it. Three.
Establish a content calendar. Consistency matters. Plan the mix of content types, educational, updates, maybe behind-the-scenes testimonials. Use events like launches as anchors. Regular AMAs are great too.
Keep the rhythm going. Makes sense. Number four.
Kickstart real engagement. Don't just post and ghost. Reply to comments. Jump into relevant conversations. Host interactive sessions. Ask for feedback. Celebrate your community wins.
Be present. Be active. Okay, five.
Monitor, measure, adapt. Keep tracking those key metrics: engagement, reach, sentiment, traffic. Especially in crypto, watch the mood closely. Analyze what works, ditch what doesn't, adjust.
Stay flexible. Step six.
Prepare for crisis moments. Think ahead about potential issues, FUD attacks, regulatory changes, tech problems, and maybe draft some potential responses so you're not scrambling if something hits.
Have a basic plan ready. Good advice. And the last one, seven.
Focus on educating, not just hyping. Especially in complex fields like crypto, provide real, usable knowledge. Position yourself as transparent, helpful, user-focused. Build trust through value.
So, wrapping this all up, the big message from our deep dive really seems to be social media isn't optional anymore for startups, is it?
Not at all. It's indispensable. And maybe even more critical for crypto projects, navigating that unique landscape of scrutiny and opportunity.
It's not just about shouting your message out there.
No, it's strategic. It's about building visibility, yeah, but also establishing real authority, real trust.
And fostering that community, turning users into advocates, that seems paramount, especially where trust is everything.
Exactly. It's about building that loyal base from day one, creating a reputation that can handle the ups and downs.
Because ultimately, a solid social strategy could be the difference between being a quick flash in the pan.
And building a brand with genuine, lasting impact. It's foundational.
Right. So here's something for you, the listener, to chew on. Think about the long-term legacy you actually want to build online with your venture. Is the way you're using social media right now truly setting you up for that success, for that connection? Maybe it's a good time to take a fresh look at your game plan.